Hi guys, happy Valentine's Day. I'm Lynn, I'm a cosplayer. If you haven't seen my videos before, go ahead and watch them. I usually do videos where I talk about tips that I have for other cosplayers or convention goers, give you guys kind of an insight into the world of a cosplayer and kind of the stresses that we go through and questions that people might have. I talk a little bit about costumes, but mostly I try to talk about the life of a cosplayer and kind of what we go through. So today, because it's Valentine's Day, I wanted to talk about the most important type of love today, which is self-love. Loving yourself, appreciating yourself, taking care of yourself, and showing the world that you are a confident, lovable human being. So whether you have a spouse today, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a special someone, or whether you have a best friend group that you're going to celebrate it with, or family members, or even just a community that you can feel loved and accepted by, I hope that you guys find the time to not only celebrate Valentine's Day, Galentine's Day, Guyentine's Day, is that a thing? I can't remember. But whatever type of Valentine's Day you celebrate, the one that I want you to think about the most today is the Valentine's that you have with yourself. Treating yourself kindly, using the nicer words in your head when you talk about yourself in front of the mirror. Doing something that is fun and out of the ordinary today, eating chocolate strawberries or your favorite dessert, taking yourself to a movie, or just doing something that you love. So if you love creating costumes, doing a little bit of that today. So the video that we're going to be specifically doing today is I am going to talk about self-care when you're a cosplayer and things that you can do to make your environment better, to make your body feel better, and to make your mind feel better. Because I think self-care is those three things. It's the environment that you surround yourself with. It is how are you taking care of your body? What are you doing to celebrate it? What are you doing to make sure that it's functioning correctly? And then also the third thing is your mind. So how are you talking to yourself? How are you talking to others? What are you doing to take care of your mental health every day? So specifically, what I'm going to be saying today is very specific to people that go to conventions, because conventions can be a massive chaotic mess, especially if you are traveling to another city, town, state, country. The traveling process in it of itself is already very stressful. Like travel, I just got back from Texas and travel is exhausting. Being on an airplane, checking your luggage, making sure nothing broke, trying to get from point A to point B, getting that Uber or Lyft, like it's a lot of work and it will exhaust you the more that you do it. So not only is there travel involved, but going to the convention itself, making sure that your costume looks the way you want it to, making sure that you are able to wear it for whatever events you're going to, going with the right group of people. Like there's a lot of stuff that goes into going to a convention. So all of you guys who are cosplayers and convention goers out there, I hope that you watch this and you take these ideas and thoughts into consideration and you try some of them out, especially on Valentine's Day. Love yourself, appreciate yourself, all of your hard work, where you've gotten to in life, just taking those few moments to say, I love myself, I love my life. There's something about it that makes me unique and special, and today is the day to celebrate yourself too. Okay, so I've kind of broken this up, and I'm sorry my nose is like running so bad because it's very cold in Washington. When it's cold, my nose runs. I've broken this up into 3 parts today. So the first part we're going to talk about is your environment. Your environment can be many different things. It can be your bedroom. It can be your home. It can be your apartment or house. It can be your average 9-to-5 job that you go to every day. It can be the people that you surround yourself with, but your environment is a major, major factor of how much you are showing love and kindness to yourself. I'm going to talk about that. The first thing I want to talk about is organization. So from anyone that does any type of craft, whether you are a sewer, a painter, a creator, you do digital art, whatever it is, organization is so important, because when you go into a room and you are surrounded by your craft, whatever you create or what you do, if it is in a chaotic, insane mess, the moment that you step into that room, that's kind of the mindset that you're putting yourself in, that this is a busy, kind of chaotic room with stuff everywhere and it's overwhelming. And starting a project can even be overwhelming because you kind of like have so much stuff around you, so much clutter. So there's really two options that you can do when you're trying to organize your costumes, your cosplay supplies, just your average everyday stuff that you see every day. So when you organize cosplay supplies, choose between these two things. One, keep them organized but hidden, or two, keep them organized but displayed nicely in your space. So if you're keeping them hidden, there's so many good ideas, and like watch Marie Kondo, watch the Japanese woman who goes into people's homes and shows them how to organize and keep things tidy. Go on YouTube and watch people's videos about their organizational techniques, or go online. Like Pinterest is a really awesome place to find out how people have organized in small spaces. But if you're hiding things, what I would say is kind of keep things in boxes or containers that are labeled. So when you see it, you should know exactly what that box or container has inside of it, kind of keep things in categories, and then keep them in a closet, under your bed, or like what I've done. I live in a very small apartment, so I actually utilize my couch space. I bought a couch on Wayfair that actually opens up, and the inside is also storage. So the ottoman and the couch itself, I can actually lift the seats up and I can put boxes of craft supplies in there. So when you're doing like Con Crunch and you have, I don't know, like a month before the convention left, and you are sewing, but you're also doing embroidery, but you're also doing hot gluing, and you're also like putting these accessories together. When you are in the middle of the chaos, the middle of the projects, take all of that stuff at the end of the day, put it back into boxes and put it away so it's not in your line of sight. Because you need to have breaks where you are not actually actively working, because if you have a massive sewing project and it's sitting out in your living room, every time that you go into your living room to watch TV or to eat a meal or to sit and cuddle with your spouse, you're going to see that project, and that's like going back and forth in your head, and then it's causing you stress just from seeing it. You have to literally take your entire being out of that area in order to get rid of that stress. Displaying nicely, there are so many YouTubers out there who, when you watch their videos, you'll notice behind them, they have a lot of containers on the walls, or kind of like those little cubes where you can like display books or display figurines or whatever, and they display their wigs up there, or they display their accessories. So one of the things that I've done in my bedroom is the purses and shoes that I use for costumes. I actually used a small black bookshelf from IKEA, and those things make me happy to see because they remind me of memories of wearing those costumes. And when I finish something new, I put it up there and it excites me because I'm like, yeah, I get to wear that soon. So if you're displaying something, make sure you're displaying it in a very beautiful, happy, nice way in your home. Other things you can do are put up bookshelves in your walls and, like those, what do you call it? Like the bookshelves that are floating, and then put your wig heads up there. Keep them displayed. Keep things that you're proud of displayed in your home nicely. So like if there's no way to display something nicely, then yes, hide it away, keep it stored. But if you'd like to display things, make sure that they're displayed in a nice way. Don't have like a chaos of a massive pile of costumes that's just kind of growing in your home, or a big tangle of wigs that are all in bags and the bags are just like everywhere. That stuff really starts to stress you out once you've been in it for a long time. Okay, the second thing about environment is clean as you go. So if you are doing a project, kind of like I said before, if you're sewing, as you are, clipping off the end of the thread, you have all these little massive bits of thread, have a little garbage can next to you and just be tossing garbage into it, or a little bag or something, and then at the end of the project, take that bag and just go throw it away. The other thing is that if you're doing lots of different pieces of a project, try to keep only the current piece out that you're working on instead of having just like everything out at once. Again, the more that you see, the more it will start to overwhelm you. A lot of people don't realize this, but even just seeing something that kind of stresses you, just the sight of it, is creating that stress in your brain and the stress response in your body. So it's very important to make sure that you don't have too much overwhelming you at the same time. My third tip for environment, I know is a little bit controversial, but I am a big believer in if you don't need it now, get rid of it. So don't hold on to scraps. If you have, some little bits of metal left over for making chainmail and you have like half a yard of this extra random fabric you needed for one skirt one time, or maybe a little bit of fake fur left, like don't hang on to stuff. It will start to accumulate in your home. It will turn into a big jumbly mess of all this stuff that you can't even remember where it came from. You're probably not going to be using it ever again. And if you need to use something like that again, chances are you aren't going to need, half of a yard or a quarter of a yard. You're going to need a few yards. So even if you have a little bit left over, you're still going to need more anyways. I think a lot of people that do cosplay are very cost focus. So they want to see how they can save money because obviously doing cosplay is expensive. So if you make your own costumes, you're buying all those materials and yards of fabric. If you're, buying things online, you're spending a ton of money to have someone else make it for you. And then even like with me, I do it half and half. I buy my costumes. I also create a lot of stuff. But if I buy a costume online, I'll still go to the store and buy extra fabric or extra thread so I can take it in, I can make it fit to myself. But just don't hold on to the scraps. The scraps, those little pieces from the projects, people always think, I can use those. Next time I make a fake collar or something with fake fur, I might need that fur. But in the end, it's just taking up room, it's causing stress, and the chances that you'll actually be able to need that very specific amount are very slim. And then the last tip I'm going to give you for environment is clean out your entire space twice a year. People think of spring cleaning oh, it's springtime, time to clean out my garage, time to clean out my basement, time to clean out my craft shop. I really recommend twice a year, once in January because it's the very start of a new year. And the best way to celebrate a new year is to clean and organize and get rid of junk. The act of getting rid of junk in your home is very symbolic because it's saying I'm getting rid of this clutter, but I'm also bringing more space and energy into my life for even better and newer things. So when I clean out things in my home, I don't think of it as in, oh my gosh, I have too much stuff and I need to get rid of stuff. I think of it as in, I'm getting rid of this to make room for something else in the future I just don't know about. So even though your cosplay workshop might be very organized and very clean and look good, still twice a year, once in January and once in the summer, go through everything you own, take a day, go get a coffee, go get breakfast, come home, sit on your floor, center yourself, do a little bit of meditation, think about what you want to do, and then go through all of your stuff, have a big garbage bag, a big recycle bag, a big bag for the local library or food bank or whatever donation place that you use, and then just go through everything and get rid of what you don't need, what is unusable, or what is really old scraps that are not really relevant anymore. Okay, so let's go into the next part of talking about self-care, and this is probably what most people think of when they think of how can I take care of myself better, which is your body. Your body is the vessel that you use to experience life. Your body is how you tell the world how you're feeling. Your body is a really, really incredible piece of machinery, which is funny because if you think about it, you take your car in to get the tires refilled. You take your car in to get the oil changed. You even take your car to get car washes when, it's a sunny day and there's some mud, up around the sides from driving in the rain. So why don't you do that to your body? Very, very often, especially because your body also experiences sensations. Feeling. I think everyone has had convention moments where they have been in pain or they have been uncomfortable, and you remember that. Your body will remember it for future conventions. So I can tell you, as someone who's been going to conventions for over 10 years now, once convention season hits, which in Washington is typically around springtime because that's when our weather actually gets nice enough to go outside, it already kind of puts my body into a state of stress because I'm oh my gosh, I have so much stuff I have to get done. I have all these projects I need to work on. This convention's coming up soon. Oh, it's the cortisol in my body is slowly rising already. So it's really, really, really important that you take care of your body before you go to a convention. I think many people have this thought in their head of, I'll do con crunch for a month, I'll like work my body every day, every night, like hand sewing, poking my fingers, using my sewing machine, hunched over my painting project that I've been working on for weeks. And then after the convention, that's when I will take myself for that spa day. I'll take a day off and go hiking. I'll, relax all day in bed and do absolutely nothing. And I am going to switch that thought around. You should be taking care of your body before the convention happens so that when you go to the convention, you can actually have a relaxing, happy, lovable time. And you're showing your body, hey, I appreciate all the hard work you do. Let's rest you before we go to this event. So the first tip I'm going to give you guys for your body is take breaks during long projects. As an artist, I completely understand with you guys that once you were on a roll, once you're doing like great, you're like, no, I have to keep going. Like the sewing project, it's going so smoothly. I feel like I'm in my groove right now. I don't want to stop. But it is really not good for your back and shoulders and neck and eyes to be focused on a small project for long periods of time. And as someone who has injured their back in the past, I can tell you that when you're on the ground crawling around trying to pin like a massive thing of fabric, it is so bad for your back to be in that position. You should be taking many breaks, but not only that, you need to kind of separate your big projects into smaller, more accessible projects. So instead of thinking about like, I need to make this entire dress and do all this, first you're going to, okay, day one, go to the fabric store, pick out the fabric, go home, lay it out together, cut the pattern. Okay, day two, we're going to put these pattern pieces together, we're going to sew them, and we're going to fit them. Okay, day three, we're going to do this. Like you have to kind of split it up, because if you're like, it's fine, I'll do con crunch, I'll put together an entire costume the week before or 2 weeks before the convention, your body is hurting. Like your shoulders are stressed, your neck is stressed, your eyes are tired from doing this, and then you end up going to a convention already feeling exhausted. And like, you spend a good amount of money to go to that convention. You probably, pay $50 or $60 for your weekend badge, sometimes more, your hotel. So why would you be spending all this time and money just to go to an event that you're not, 100% feeling good for? So take care of your body and take breaks. Tip number 2, do not sacrifice comfort for a convention costume. This is a mistake that everyone makes out in, tripping over my words here. This is a mistake that everyone makes when they are first going to conventions. The thought of, I need to look exactly like my character, whether the costume is realistic or not, and buying the pieces based on what the picture looks like, not how it's going to actually feel to wear it. Also the thought of, all these pieces are really cool on their own and never putting them all the way together to see how they are going to actually feel. I want to tell you guys the story of when I wore KDA Ari last year, and I decided to wear pantyhose, like dance tights, and then I wore the thigh-high stockings over the dance tights, and then I wore a pair of high-heeled shoes that were slightly too small on my feet, and I broke both of my big toenails. This could have been prevented, but I never thought about the more things that you layer on to your feet that are tight, the more they compress it. So if it was just the dance tights and the heels, probably would have been okay. Or if it was just the thigh-high stockings and the heels, it probably would have been fine. But having all 3 layers of things that are tight and like crushing, and then going and walking for 8 hours a day was a huge mistake. And I'm not gonna lie, like my toenails are still growing out. This was a year ago. So do not sacrifice comfort just to look a certain way. Yes, if you are going to a photo shoot and you need to look a very specific way for a photo, okay, bring all your costume stuff, bring those heels that are uncomfy, wear them for the photos, and then when you're done, take them off and go into different shoes or a different outfit that you can actually walk around in. It's really fun to go to a convention and have that moment where you walk through the doors and you are really confident in your costume and you feel like you look like $100, and it's really satisfying. It's a very, very happy feeling for many cosplayers, especially when someone recognizes you and people point and look at you. But when you've been there for 6 hours and your feet hurt so bad and your back is aching because whatever you have on it is slightly too heavy for you, those are the times when you start to regret your costume. And typically these are also the costumes you never wear again because they're just too uncomfortable. Like your body remembers that discomfort and pain. So do not sacrifice comfort. If you have to alter a costume design for the convention floor to make it more comfy, people are not going to notice. They are not going to point it out and be like, oh my gosh, she is wearing wedge shoes instead of high heels. I can tell. They don't care. Like, unless you are changing a major point of your cosplay, slightly changing things to make them more comfy or easier to wear, whatever you need to do that first. Take care of your body. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that, but people need to hear it because people need to do it more. Okay, and then the third thing about your body, the third tip I'm going to give you is make spa day a part of your con week schedule. So the last week before a convention, I do a lot of things to make sure that the morning that I wake up for the convention, I feel 100%. So I'll take really good care of my skin that week. I'll take really good care of my hair. I'll get my nails done, or I'll like paint them at home. I'll do my toenails, I'll shave my legs. Like, I just take really, really good care of myself so that the morning of the convention, when I wake up, I feel confident in myself because I've been taking care of myself and I've been investing time into, doing what makes me feel good. So if you need to do certain things before the convention weekend to make sure you feel good, like laying out your costumes, you see it every day, going to the gym and working out, going to the sauna and sitting in it and sweating your stress away, like whatever you physically have to do to make yourself feel good, go and do it, the week before the convention, and make kind of like a schedule. So when I had done characters in the past who had more tan skin, I would go get a spray tan. So it would be like, okay, 3 days before the convention, get the spray tan. 2 days before the convention, get my nails done. A day before the convention, take a nice bubble bath, sit there, relax, read a book in the bath, just peace out for a little bit. And that is a really, really important part of con week. People get so invested in the actual making of their costume and thinking they can rush it. And then you wake up the morning of the convention and your back hurts and you're really tired because you haven't gotten enough sleep and you never did your nails because you didn't have time. So now you're kind of like, oh, now I'm self-conscious about that. Those things add up and you don't need that kind of stress on your body. Okay, so let's talk about the last topic of self-care, which is what most would argue is the most important part, which is the mind. Your brain, your perception of things, how you feel when you go into a convention is so important. I just got back from a conference where they talked about our perception of the world changes based on what we're actually hearing and experiencing during that kind of during that experience, pretty much. So if you have a messy workshop, like where you're creating your costumes, there's just chaos and mess everywhere, and there's like dirty dishes in your sink and they're kind of smelly, and you're kind of like rushing around because you're really stressed, like those things actually affect you before you even get to the convention. So we're going to talk about ways to take care of your mind and make sure that you are in a good mental state before you actually go to an event. First one we're going to talk about is surround yourself with positivity and excitement. One of the best psychological tricks that I've ever heard is if you want to make friends who are happy to see you, every time you see them, treat them excitedly. So as soon as you see that friend, be like, oh my gosh, it's so great to see you. Hug. Oh my gosh, what have you been up to? I heard that you were doing this. That is so cool. Like the way that you interact with people actually stimulates the same response in them. So if someone sees you and they always have a big smile on their face and they're like really happy and excited to see you, you remember that feeling. And every time you see them, you start to feel the same thing. You're excited and happy to see them because they're promoting a lot of positivity in your life. So when you go to a convention, even before you get there, surround yourself with positive, happy vibes and feelings and people that are excited to be there and people that have found some sort of happiness. So excited friends, supportive online communities, someone in your life who is just as excited to go to the convention with you, and you can kind of bounce off that excitement with them. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make is the week before convention. They'll go and post their picture online and say, hey guys, what do you think of my picture? And they'll post it on a community that is very nitpicky, and they will sit there and pick apart their costume. And so then that person is like, oh my gosh, I'm about to go to a convention in a week, and now I feel like absolute poopy because all these people have just picked me apart, and now I have so many things to feel self-conscious about. So when you go online and you go to those communities, say what you're excited about. Hey, who else is excited about this panel? I love going to it every year. Who else is going to it? Do you guys have good memories of last year? Do you remember when this happened? That was so funny. When you're talking about the event with your friends, focus on the positives. So if you have that one friend that's always like, oh my gosh, I have no clue how I'm gonna get this done in time. I'm so tired. I have no energy. Oh, I need more coffee. My life is falling apart. Kind of start to push the conversation to go into the more happy, positive aspects. Be like, wow, I'm really sorry about that. Hey, do you remember last year when we went to that group photo shoot and I was so self-conscious about my costume, but then Rapunzel came up to me, she said she loved it. Oh my gosh, it made me feel so good. Kind of switch the conversation so that you're going from stress, negativity, not enough time to happy memories, positivity, optimism. Switching your state of mind will change how you perceive the event when you get there. And that is a big, big, big mental thing we all have to keep in mind. Okay, number 2 for mind is create a timeline and stick to it. You can use your phone calendar. You can use a paper calendar or planner. You can use a whiteboard on your refrigerator or on your wall. You can use sticky notes in your bathroom mirror, whatever you have to do, create a timeline, write it down or record it somehow, and then try to follow along as close as you can. So don't create a timeline where it's 3 days before the convention. Make the costume, wear the costume, make the alterations for the costume. Don't make a timeline that is going to be impossible to follow. Make a timeline where you feel really good about it, you feel easygoing, and you see progress. So I think that's a really big one for a lot of artists, is that if we don't see progress in our costumes, we will start to lose interest in them, especially when you have a timeline that's a few months long. A lot of costumes, I will spend a few months working on slowly at a time so I don't feel rushed, so I can spread the cost of whatever I'm doing out. But seeing progress of, okay, check, got to check that box. Ooh, that feels good. I feel really happy now. I feel satisfied that I'm getting things done. The third thing we're gonna talk about, did you guys see, I almost forgot to put up a third finger. I got confused there. It's still the morning. I'm looking at my big venti coffee over there, and I'm feeling so much love in my heart that I get to finish it after this video because I need it. The third thing about treating your mind with love and kindness is delegate. The word delegate means to give tasks to other people who can help you achieve what you are trying to achieve. We've all been there in moments when we feel so overwhelmed, yet we still feel like we need to do something. We feel the personal responsibility of, okay, I know other people are involved in this, but I just feel like I have to get this done on my own, or someone else is gonna do it correctly, or just I don't wanna ask people for it because I'm nervous they'll say no. The most important thing that you can do when you are going to a convention is delegate things to other people, give them tasks to help you succeed. Because I guarantee you, most of your friends want to help you. They want to make it so that whatever group event you're going to, the whole group feels happy and excited to be there, and no one feels overwhelmed. So when you start to get in that overwhelmed mindset and you're like, oh my gosh, I need help, my life is becoming a mess, think about it. Think about things that you could delegate to other people, and then do that and ask them. That kind of goes into the last thing I'm going to talk about with how to take care of your mind, which is ask for what you need. People are so scared to ask others to do something for them. I'm not going to lie, I'm one of those people, and I'm not an extrovert, but I'm definitely an ambivert. I love to talk with other people and get ideas and interact, but at the end of the day, I want to go home and sit in my bed and not talk to anyone. But I can definitely tell you, even from my standpoint, someone who's more extroverted, asking for what I need from others can be difficult because I'm always scared they're going to say no, or they're going to be like, well, why do you need that? Or like kind of make me feel bad. But I guarantee you, every time I have asked someone for something, they have been so kind, so respectful about it, and usually they say yes. So if you need something from your group, like let's say the hotel this year is on your credit card and it's getting closer to the date and you're like, ooh, okay, we have, 2 people in the group who haven't paid for their share of the hotel yet. I really, really need to get the money from them. A lot of people will just start kind of beating around the bush. Like they'll hang out with friends and be like, so yeah, the event's coming up. Yep, and everyone else paid their hotel fee now. Like, do you think you're going to pay it soon? Don't do that with people. Don't be passive. Don't beat around the bush. If you need something from someone, just very politely and respectfully ask for it. Hey, we're going to this convention soon. It's $200 each for the hotel. I really need you to Venmo me today. That's all you have to do. Or ask them, like, if you're doing a costume, like a group costume or something, and you're really struggling with a piece of it or a portion of it, and someone else has already finished theirs, ask them, hey, I need some help on this. Could you come over tomorrow? I'll treat you to dinner and you can show me how to finish this. Like, kind of make the plan and then tell the other person how the plan is going to go. Not that you're being bossy or aggressive, but just ask for what you need. Or if you are getting overwhelmed and you need to ask your friends like, hey, I really need someone to just come over and like tell me nice things about my costume because I am feeling very body conscious in this costume and I'm worried people are going to see the cellulite on my thighs and like make comments about it. Tell them that you need that. Your friends are more than happy to give you compliments, to make you feel better. Like that's what friends are for, is to be supportive and to give you what you need as another human being who deserves love. So don't be afraid to ask what you need. And don't be afraid to be very particular and precise, and be respectful and kind, of course, but, be blunt. If you need something, you need it. That's just the way it is. And if the other person can't help you, chances are they might know someone that can, or they might be able to do something else for you instead. Like, hey, I really don't have time to help you with your costume tomorrow, but here, let me ask this other girl, and I think she could probably do it. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this super long video today. I know I blabbered on and on, but I really think that self-care is something that we all really need to work on. And with it being Valentine's Day, go and paint your nails pink, put some pink makeup on your face, take yourself out for a nice lunch or a nice dinner today, go home and snuggle your cat and eat chocolate-covered strawberries just because they taste good. Do it for yourself. Take care of yourself, have fun. I'll see you guys coming up at Emerald City, which is, I think, like 2 weeks from now. Oh my gosh. Whew, it's coming up soon. I'll see you guys there. I'll see you at SoccerCon, and we'll see about some summer conventions coming up too. So anyways, have a good day, guys, and spread the love. Happy Valentine's Day.